Welcome to ET English, the unique English language learning feature of the Education Times. This recording is brought to you by Achini Abegunwadana and her team at London Academy of Speech. The Education Times comes to you every week with the Sunday Times, a leading publication of Vijay Newspapers Limited. ET English introduces a unique way of learning English through stories. It has a short prose passage taken from a novel, a picture story, both of which are being published in episodes every week. All the lessons and activities that are given in the feature are from these two stories. Many English scholars accept that when you learn a language through stories, you remember them better. Further, the picture story will complement this by adding the visual component as well, where it will help the readers create vivid images in their minds, helping them to remember those dialogues and words through those incidents. The first episode of ET English appeared in the Education Times section on the 13th of September 2015. Now, we are going to bring the audio version of this feature where you can listen to the stories and lessons. First, the picture story, secondly, the novel, and finally, the lessons. To get the best out of this feature, we suggest that you get a copy of the Education Times and also a dictionary. It will also help if you have read the feature once or twice on your own. At the same time, try to get the correct pronunciation by listening to the audio attentively and repeatedly and trying to read it after every dialogue, emulating the voices that you hear. You will now listen to the ET English lesson number 51 that appeared in the Education Times section of the Sunday Times on the 4th of September 2016. This page will be uploaded to the ET English website on the 12th of September 2016. We will now begin with Aijanas, written by Ranjit Gunaratna and illustrated by Anton B. Pereira. Episode 41.
Tell me, Yvonne, what's the problem?
Hans is getting out of hand. He's changing.
That's something natural, darling. He's not a small kid anymore.
I know he's a teenager, but he's still my son.
And he needs to stay in your lap forever?
Listen, Bertie, this is not a joke. Do you know that he has got a tattoo?
What? A tattoo? Where?
On his shoulder. I happened to see it the other day.
Now that is a little bit more serious. Maybe it's just a temporary one.
That I don't know. And the tattoo is not the only issue.
What else?
He's very grumpy most of the time. In short, he's not the same boy anymore.
Darling, that is normal. He's just growing up. We need to adjust to it.
Now, this is why he's so obstinate. Dad always takes his side.
I'm not taking any side. Remember, we are a family and all of us are on the same side.
Well, there is something else that worries me.
What is that?
Let's now listen to The Scarecrow, based on a story by Asghar Hussain. Episode 1. After watching over the paddy field for a week, the Scarecrow began to get worried. The birds no longer seemed to be afraid of him. They came closer and closer, looking at him curiously. Some even flew over his head. One day, he heard the crow telling the sparrows that he wasn't a human. "Look at that fellow! He thinks he can frighten us, but he can't even turn his head. He just shakes a little when the wind blows across the field. The Scarecrow wanted to wave his arms and shoo them away, but he realized he couldn't move at all. He stood there, feeling utterly helpless. A moment later, the crow landed on his shoulder. "Look, my friends," the crow cawed loudly. "See how I perch on him without any fear. He can't harm us at all." Now let's move to the lessons for this week. Activity 1. Read the text, The Scarecrow, and answer the questions. Number 1. What is the subject of the first sentence? Number 2. What does they refer to in the third sentence? 3. What did the Scarecrow hear the crow telling the sparrows? 4. According to the crow, when does the Scarecrow shake a little? 5. Where did the crow land?
Activity 2. What or who do the words in the text in italics from 1 to 10 refer to? Answer to the first one is given. 1. Him, the Scarecrow. 2. His. 3. Fellow. 4. Us. 5. Them. 6. His. 7. My. 8. I. 9. He. 10. Us.
Activity 3. Read the text and write the sentences given in direct speech. They are given in quotation marks.
Activity 4. Read the picture story and match the questions in column A with the responses in column B. Column A questions. 1. What is Yvonne worried about? 2. What's happening to Hans? 3. What does Bertie say about it? Number 4. What had Yvonne noticed on Hans' shoulder? 5. What does Bertie want Yvonne to remember? Column B responses. A. He says it's natural that Hans is not a small kid anymore. B. She is worried about Hans's behavior. C. He's getting out of hand and is changing. D. Bertie wants Yvonne to remember that they are a family. E. She had noticed a tattoo.
The word bank for this week. Most of the meanings given are relevant to the context of the stories. 1. Scarecrow. A figure made to look like a person that is dressed in old clothes and put in a field to frighten birds away. 2. Worry. Thinking about unpleasant things that have happened or might happen. 3. Curious. Showing a strong desire to know about something. 4. Flew. It's a past tense of fly. Fly means to move through the air. 5. Wave. Movement of your arm and hand from side to side. 6. Realize. Understand or become aware of a particular fact or situation. 7. Utterly. Completely. 8. Helpless. Unable to take care of yourself or do things without the help of other people. 9. Lap. The top part of your legs that forms a flat surface when you are sitting down. 10. Temporary. Not permanent or only a limited time. 11. Grumpy. Bad-tempered. 12. Obstinate. Refusing to change your attitudes or opinions. The answers for last week's lessons. Activity 1. 1D, 2C, 3A, 4E, 5B. Activity 2. 1. Apuhami asked the villagers to follow him and went to the center of the field. 2. Apuhami carried a flaming torch and it dropped from his hand. 3. A fat comical figure with an effeminate grin stared at Apuhami and he was ashamed. 4. The people cupped their hands over their mouths and suppressed their laughter. 5. Appuhami was ridiculed and learnt a good lesson. Activity 3. Number 2. It, meaning the scarecrow. 3. He, Appuhami. 4. His, Appuhami. 5. He, Appuhami. 6. Their, people. 7. Their, people. 8. Their, people. 9. It, a fat comical figure. 10. His, Appuhami. 11. He, Appuhami. 12. Himself, Appuhami. The answers for activity 4. 1. Because Nimali doesn't have an email account or a computer. 2. She will create an email account for Nimali so that Nimali can check mail at a net cafe. 3. Nuani. 4. She asked when she would return. 5. Hans. Dear listeners, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to our recording brought to you by the London Academy of Speech. You are welcome to give us your feedback and suggestions on the telephone numbers and the email address given in the ET English feature in the Education Times section. This recording has been voiced by Achini together with Channa. We shall meet you again with ET English, Lesson 52. Until then, goodbye and happy learning.